All right, YouTube family, I'm back again with the one and the only, the superstar, Miss Jenna. So we today are going to show you guys what lists that I target every single month to make $20,000 a month. Like this is the bread and butter. This is the low hanging fruits. So I want you to get your laptop open because Jenna, she's going to walk you through it exactly what software we use, where do we get the list, and then she's going to show you guys actually two different ways to get the property in a contract and be able to wholesale them. One of them is going to be creative financing, which I don't really much talk about. But Jenna here is going to show you exactly how it's done. Jenna, I'll let you take it over.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. It's always great to hang out with you. So let me share my screen here.
And hold on a second. Also, too, is Jenna. You also mentioned that there's some exciting stuff that you want to announce at the end, right?
Yeah, so coming up here in the next 1 to 2 weeks, we're going to have 4 new lead types introduced into the software.
Ooh.
And they're going to be really directed towards wholesalers amongst other investors, but some really creative new lead types that I wanted to show you guys at the end, something that we haven't even talked about before. So we'll get into that. Okay, so let me show you guys where you can actually get the software that I'm going to be talking about. So everything we're going to be talking about is a custom software that we have created with yours truly here and our awesome Khang here. So we're going to be able to come in here, and he looked at our software and he's like, all right, this is going to be fantastic for my different users. So let me show you guys where you can have access to this. So you're going to go to Deals for Me Now. So DEALS, the number 4 MENOW.com. So when you come in here, you're going to go to Get Started, just so that you guys can see everything. Because last thing I want to do is show you something that you guys don't even have yet. So let me show you guys where you can get it here. There's going to be 2 different options. There's going to be a basic version and there's going to be a pro version. And you're going to see there's going to be 8 different lead types versus our 20 different lead types. So we're going to have, I'm going to show you the different types of leads that you have access to.
Hold on a second, Jenna. I'm going to stop you here just for a second. For those of you, I know there's a lot of software out there that you're currently using. Dude, I've been in the game for 12 years. I've probably used almost every single software that you probably have already tried. And I end up with this. And I find that this one is to be the best, and we're currently using it right now. And Jenna's going to show you guys what is so different and so powerful about the software compared to any other one that you're currently using out there. All right. So with technologies that are going fast, you got to stay on top, man, on top of your shit. Go ahead, Jenna.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the different types of leads. It's just basically where you are in your investing career. If you're going to be a serious investor, you're targeting all these different markets, you're doing a lot of marketing and advertising for your business, then most likely the pro version is going to be dedicated towards you. It's going to have more lead types. It's going to have additional artificial intelligence coverage, which I'm going to explain to you over the course of this. Again, feel free to watch our presentation here and then decide, but I really wanted you guys to have the software up and running while we're doing this, so you can be doing it simultaneous. You can always upgrade after the fact. So that way, if you want to get started, you can get started with either one of our packages. Check your email. If you don't see it after you sign up, check your spam filters just to make sure you're going to get your username and your password. Then you can come in and then you can follow us over to our software. So now I'm going to show you guys our user interface. So this is something, Khang, you probably haven't even seen. As of yesterday, we completely revamped the user experience. So we've made it cleaner, we've made it easier, it just functions better. So when you come in here, you're going to go to your main screen, guys. You're going to see that there's going to be property leads. Now this area, this is like your own personal Google search. So you can search over 160 million properties all across the country. It's all based on what is your buying criteria. And this is something that we're going to be talking about with you guys for the next however long we're going to be hanging out here today live. But the thing is, when we're in here, this is great. We have 160 million leads. Like, that's awesome. But we need to figure out, what does a motivated seller look like? How do we figure out how to find those amazing properties, put a bow on it, and then present that to your end buyers? Because we need to figure out what are going to be some attractive properties that we can target. What are going to be the ones that we can focus on to find the motivated ones?
I'm sorry. Okay. I see step in really quick. So here's something I want you guys, every single one of you, to understand. After this live, you're going to walk away with a very, very narrow niche list. Like I decided to just like, hey, let's go for the low hanging fruits, right? I'm not talking about complicated lists where you got to talk to the seller. You got to follow up with them for months and months and months. We're just going to go in and cherry pick the most. I believe that it is the best list to target, whether you're new or you're experienced. But this is the list that I target every single month to make $20,000 off of, okay? So you're going to walk away having a list that you can target from this meeting. All right. So I want you to know that. Jenna's going to make everything extremely simple. Go ahead, Jenna.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so when you guys are in here, I'm just gonna show you the lead types. Just because if you're sitting there and you're like, I can't decide, do I want the pro, or when you're in the purchase area, if you're like, do I want the basic or the pro? So let me show you the different types of leads, just so you know, and then I'm going to show you how we figure out which ones to target. So when you come into this area, guys, this is where we're going to put in our geographic location. This is where you're telling the system, okay, this is the area I want to focus on. Now, whenever you're becoming a wholesaler, guys, like, you know that there's different ways that we can start. Like, we can start out by finding our leads and then getting our buyers, or you can start out by finding your buyers and then figuring out what they want and then custom designing your marketing to cater to that buyer. So there's different ways, whether you do it in regular or reverse. Either way is completely fine. So when we come in here, if you are looking for a specific target or target area, or if you have buyers that are looking for specific areas, this is where we're going to put that. Now we're going to put in here, you can put as much as your whole state. You can do it by one county. You can put up to 5 counties at one time searching. You can look up one city or up to 5 cities, or you can be as micro as just typing in one physical address, coming in here and just saying, show me all the stats on this house next door. Show me all the stats on this house that I know that's for sale. So you can do either way. So you can come in here and select a geographic location. Once you do that, you're going to see your different types of leads. So when we talk about the difference between the basic version and the pro version, the basic version will include 8 different lead types. And those lead types are absentee owners, active listings, cash buyers, delinquent tax activity. You will not have this section here for foreclosure activity. However, we can talk about how we can find other leads. Now we're going to have free and clear, the different equity positions, and upside down. Now, sometimes we may look at some of these lead types and you may say, I'd never market to that person. Or maybe I'm always going to go and I'm always going to get after this person. What we're going to be talking about on these calls together are how we're going to target other things that maybe your eyes have been closed to. A lot of times when we think about a wholesale, if you were to look up different definitions for it, it's usually going to be getting a property under contract. And in most situations, a property that's undervalued, it's going to be a property that's less than what we could sell it for on the market. So we're going to be getting a financially less expensive property, and then we're going to sell that contract or double close on that contract to an end buyer. However, there are other deals that we can wholesale. Like, if you can imagine, if you're an investor sitting there, imagine if you're a rehabber. I know we're here to talk about wholesaling, but we're wholesaling it to rehabbers. So put sometimes a different mindset on it. Imagine if you're a rehabber, or maybe you're a landlord. Maybe you're a landlord and you're like, look, I want to get as many properties as possible in this next year. What if somebody could come to you and present an opportunity and they say, hey, I have this deal, I want to wholesale to you. But instead of you having to go out and get your own financing, instead of you have to go to the bank and qualify or pay these hard money loans or private money loans, what if they included financing with it? Like, what if they came to you and said, hey, I have this awesome opportunity, I want to wholesale it to you. It's this great move-in ready rental property. And also the owner is willing to finance you on the deal at 6% interest or 4% interest. Like, you would have people knocking down your door to find those opportunities. So we're going to be talking about how do we find those kind of deals? How do we put a bow on it? And how do we push that out to our buyers list? Now, when we talked about, there's the basic and the pro version. The pro version is going to have everything we just talked about. So all those 8 different lead types that we talked about. In addition to those 8, you will also have foreclosure activity. You have active investor owned. And so this is going to give you different investors in your area. Board investors, we're going to have flipped properties, foreclosures, long-term owners, potentially inherited, pre-foreclosures, vacancy, and zombie properties. So also with the pro version, you're going to have the ability to do something called list stacking, which is selecting more than one at one time. So if you say, I want a property that's vacant and delinquent on taxes, and I want it to be in foreclosure all at the same time, we can search for exactly that. Also, you have the ability to exclude. So if you say, show me everything on this list except for active listings, because I only want off-market deals, it's going to be up to you. So again, those are the different types of leads. And then I said the difference between those packages will be our artificial intelligence. Now, Khang and I, we've talked about AI. Like AI is such a sexy term. It's like machine learning technology. You hear all this stuff, genetic algorithm. What do these words mean? But basically, to put it in English, how we have leveraged artificial intelligence in this system. If you can imagine, let's say we want to pull a list of, let's say, people that are behind on their mortgage payments. So they're in a pre-foreclosure scenario. That's great that we have those people that are in a pre-foreclosure scenario, but what if some of them don't want to sell their house? What if they want to try to get their property and get it back in order, and maybe they're not necessarily motivated? Or what if we're going to talk to a list of people who own their property, let's say free and clear, so they have no mortgage on it? Of course, we can target those people, but how do we figure out which of those 1,000 people are basically having their hand raised saying, you know what, I'd want to sell it. I don't want to target the other 900 people that don't want to sell their property. I want to target the 100 people in that mix of 1,000 that actually have a desire to sell. And that's what the AI alleviates for us. What it does is it leverages over 40 years worth of real estate sales information. So if you can imagine, every house in the entire country that is sold since the 1980s until now, we own all the financial information on every seller of those properties and all the property details of every one of those properties. It sounds super invasive. It sounds creepy. It totally is. However, what we're looking for are trends. It's almost like we're becoming a detective and we're saying, okay, these houses sold, but why? What was the reason that they sold their property? And the reason that we want to know is because it only makes sense that if we can analyze and understand the past, then we can predict the future. Because if we see all these people currently or in the past had things happen to them and then quickly sold their property, we can look for those same trends today. And then we can predict people selling their property in the future. So that's what we do. We're looking at things like, how much money did those people make? What cars did they drive? What magazines did they subscribe to? Were they late on credit card payments? Were they behind on taxes? Were their utilities being shut off? Did somebody die? Did they get divorced? Did they move away? Like, what happened in that person's life that caused that person to sell that property? We're looking at the property itself too. So how old was that property? How old was the person? Did it most likely need work? Like all these different parameters. And we're taking it, we put it into our genetic algorithm that we've custom designed and created with somebody who worked at NASA. And then we're looking and we're scrubbing it against all the current people on our list. So if we were to come in here and we're looking for trends, we're looking for correlation. So if we were to come in here to a market that I like to invest, sorry, go ahead.
Hold on a second, Jenna. Like, I want you guys to, the reason Jenna share this and someone commented sound like a sales pitch, listen to me, because a lot of you do, like, you don't understand the software. So if we try to like get you to invest into a software that's going to help you close more deals, but we don't explain to you about the software and why is it so different than any other software you use, then what's even the point? You know, like, you don't even know what you invested in. And let me share. And another thing I want you guys to understand is this is how you stay ahead of the curve. Right? This is how you stay ahead of other investors, is being able to leverage the latest software to use, all right, to target. And I also want to mention this is, you know, I've done video on, you know, with Jenna on this as well. And I know that probably within the next month or two, the price is going to go up on both of them. So for those of you who lock in right now, this is probably the cheapest it will ever be. Just to give you guys a heads up, right? So if you lock in at that price for the pro or the basic, you lock in. But for those of you who might see this video later, it might go up in price, just an FYI. But Jenna, let's go ahead and move in and show them exactly what list we're going to target. And let's take them through the training now.
Yeah. And so I didn't even see the comment where it said it was a sales pitch. The thing is, the AI comes with it. It comes with it. I'm just showing you what you're getting. So I wasn't sales pitching. I was showing you guys what the artificial intelligence is so that way you guys know what it is. You know how to use it when you get your software. So, but anyways.
Well, the thing is, they don't know if Jenna was gonna drop her sales pitch, dude. All of you will be throwing your credit card at me and her. I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah. So let me show you guys. So when we're talking about the AI, you're going to see in here, we can come in and we can search by AI score. So essentially what we're doing is we're saying to the system, that's great. I have 230,000 different leads, but show me only the ones that have the highest propensity to sell in the next 90-day window. And we're going to sift through and push out the ones that don't have the highest likelihood. Again, we're using 40 years worth of information, analyzing it, putting it into our genetic algorithm, and scrubbing it against all the current people to match the trends, the symptoms, the characteristics that other people had in the past with the current people of today. So that's how we're leveraging AI. But let's talk about some of those lists that we can target. So again, we've talked in the past about one of my most favorite lists. I absolutely love the delinquent tax activity. We've talked about this in the past. And then what we can do is we can go into our filter section. And again, you can come in here with your filters. You have the ability to search for pretty much anything you're looking for. But I like to combine it with out-of-state absentee owners. What I'm telling the system is show me all the different people in my area that are behind on taxes. And not only that they don't live in that property, but they don't even live in the same state in that property. Again, this is just one list, but this isn't the list necessarily that we're talking about today. So if we were to come back here, let's talk about the other lists that we can target. Now, one of my favorite lists that we can target, and this is what you were talking about, this is what you're saying that you go after, Khang, is going to be the properties that are free and clear. Now, you can hover over any of these different lead types and you can read them. It's going to give you the definition, but basically somebody who owns their property free and clear is somebody that has no mortgage on it. So they've paid off the mortgage. Now, again, we have this list of people. We have 123,000 different people in this area that own their property free and clear. That's great, but we need to figure out which ones are motivated, which ones have the look and feel of something going on in their life that would indicate that they want to sell.
One second, Jenna. So, Junior has a question, so I just want to take some time. Justin, the free and clear is in the basic, and I want to tell you guys why I love the free and clear. When you're starting out, whether you have a tight budget or you have a big budget, doesn't matter. But the free and clear, typically people have owned their property for a long time, right? It probably needs to be updated. They're probably older, all right? And when it's free and clear, it's just so much easier to negotiate, all right? And a lot of you are like, you're not targeting free and clear. And what I love about this is like the low hanging fruits. When you get on the phone with them, right? If they have a mortgage on it, and if they only walk away with 10,000, right? Their motivation of, getting 10,000 is like, it's not high. But if they own it free and clear, and if we find ways to hit these people and target them, imagine if they say, hey, they walk away with 100,000. That's life changing. $100,000, $200,000. They can go and do a lot with that. Like I love the free and clear list, man. It's just a low hanging fruits. And I know it's not like crazy. And a lot of you will be like, Khang, well, like we already know that. But the thing is now, Jenna, she's going to share with you how to there's two ways that you can actually talk to the owner, locking up under contract to get the most you can out of that one lead. Okay. Jenna, can you answer this question as well? Junior said, if I buy nationwide AI, do I still pay monthly?
Yeah. So basically when you get your subscription, you're getting the software and everything like that. And you're going to get potentially either one, like when we talk about the artificial intelligence, it's going to be broken down by geographic locations. So if you get the basic version, you will get that sellability scoring turned on in one zip code of your choosing. If you do the package, the pro version, you're going to get one entire county of your choosing turned on for the sellability score. Now, you're going to have the software, and this is something that you're paying for monthly. If you are adding on nationwide artificial intelligence, that's a one-time fee, and that turns on the AI for your entire country. However, you still will have a monthly fee for the use of the software itself. So it is something that you add on, but you'll have it for the life of your account as long as you have your account, but you still have the monthly subscription for the actual software itself.
Okay.
the
And
actual lead generation and
got it.
comping and everything.
And Jenna, I also want to add is that if all you do is just focus on this one list, I can tell you right now, if you just focus on this one list and not any other list, just focus on this one list, right? And Jenna's going to show you exactly a couple different ways, right? The creative financing way to put this property in contract and wholesale to an investors, all right? Using creative financing, all right? But what we're going to do is we're going to zone into like dial into zip code and then maybe the city you're in, or maybe the county. And then eventually you just keep on growing to get the list bigger and bigger and bigger, which Jenna's going to show you, right? Because if you just narrow in to your zip code, maybe there's only a list of like, I don't know, maybe only 500 people who owns it free and clear. You target them, and then we're just going to keep on growing it out. But specifically, just targeting this one list. And eventually you just want to market to everybody in your entire states. Okay. But we're going to start narrowing down first the zip code, and then city, and then county, and then the whole entire states. But just one list.
So
go ahead, Jenna.
Yeah. So when we come in here, we can target. So actually I was on the wrong screen here. So I was on my exclude screen. So I need my include screen. So I'm going to be here. I'm going to look at my free and clear properties. So I'm saying to the system, show me all my properties that are owned free and clear in whatever city or geographic location of your selection. We have 107,000 different properties. This is great, but I need to figure out how to sift through them. I want to find the motivated sellers. And this is where we're going to sprinkle on the artificial intelligence scoring. So if we go all the way back up to the top, you're going to see here, this is where we rate the different properties. So we're going to rate them anywhere from a score of 0 to 1,000, 1,000 being the best, on how likely we're going to predict that that property is going to sell in the next 90-day window. So we could come in here and we can say, all right, give me all the properties that are a score of 600 and above. Anything above a 500 is going to show an increased opportunity for selling that property. Now, if we're going to have the higher we go, the higher the likelihood that that person is going to sell. So just for the sake of saving time, let's go all the way up to 900 and above. So we're saying, show me all the people that have a high opportunity, or there's a high chance probability that these people will sell their property in the next 90-day window at a discounted wholesale score or wholesale type of a price. We have almost 1,500 different people. Again, you can continue to filter down. It all comes down to who you're targeting. So if you come in here and you say, look, I only am interested in single family properties, that's fine. Then get rid of the rest of it. Get rid of all these other ones. We're looking for free and clear properties with a wholesale score of 900 and above. Now we're at 1,100 different properties. Now, if you come in here and you say, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, hold on, Jenna. I want to jump in. So what we're doing is I want you guys to basically teaching you how to maximize your dollar. So that way, when you're targeting a homeowner, you get on the phone with them. They are not like, hey, you know what? I want to sell my property for $100,000, but they owe $95,000 on it, right? So which means when you hit these homeowner, they're owning it free and clear. Your chance when you get on the phone with them, know what to say and present them with different ways, all right, that they can sell their property. Your chance of getting a property locked up in a contract is just so much higher. Go ahead, Jenna.
Yeah. So let's say that you say, you know what, I only want to target individuals who own their property in their personal name. Maybe you're not interested in going after any sort of LLCs or banking or financial institutions, governments, or trust. Again, it's up to you. Usually I'll either target individuals by themselves, or I sprinkle in businesses and trust. I personally don't typically go after a lot of financial or banking institutions or governments. I do go after some bank-owned properties usually when they're listed. But again, we're here to talk about this, the niche type of a list. So let's come in here. Let's just scrub it down just a little bit. Now we're going to be down to 686 different properties. So we have really, really narrowed our search. And now we're going to start our marketing. So what you can do is you can come in here. You can select multiple pages of 25. You can come in here and you can select the entire list of 686. It all comes down to how many people you want to target. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select them, and then we're going to add them into the My Lead section. So this area, guys, this is almost like your own like Amazon, like shopping cart. Like this is just our shopping cart that's housing all of our different leads for right now till we figure out how do we want to check out. So do you want to just download them outside of the system? You can. Do you want to just save them into the database? Sure, you can do that. Do you want to direct mail them, or do you want one of the least expensive options to be able to skip trace them with our lead tracing? And this is going to give us the ability to get all their contact information.
Hey,
because
Jenna,
this is, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, when Jenna said about Amazon, Amazon is costing you money. All right, this is making you money. Asset versus liability. Come on, let's make sure that we get it straight now.
Yeah. So this is we're going to be checking out so we can make money, not spend money like Amazon. But yeah, this is like our little shopping cart. And so we're going to come in here to lead trace, and you're going to see, even if we did have any sort of businesses or corporations on here, we can skip that, or we can actually skip trace them. We can pierce that corporate veil. We can get their contact information, but you're going to get multiple phone numbers, multiple email addresses, even their relatives' contact information. We will scrub it against the do not call list for you and the litigator list. And we're going to have a really high success rate of getting you the bulk of the people. Like, we may not get you all 686, but you will be credited back for anybody that you did pay for that we couldn't find. So you will get credited back. It will scrub it against your duplicates through your contacts. Give it a name. So spend an extra second here and put in, Cleveland, Ohio, free and clear, AI of 900 and above, single family properties, individually owned, all the different things that we search for, because when it saves it into your database, it puts that tag with it. So you know what kind of lead that was from. And we're going to go to continue. Yeah.
Hold on. So Jenna, we got a list of, in Cleveland, Ohio, 686, right?
Yes.
Free and clear, individually owned. Okay. And that is, and that's for the whole city?
Yeah, that's the city. You can do it by zip code if you want to do it just by one zip code. You can.
Got it. Okay. That's actually a good size of list, 686. Okay. Let's see how much it's going to cost us.
Yeah, so we'll agree. So it's going to be just barely over $100. Now, understand, guys, one of the things I didn't tell you, if we targeted a list of 900 and above on our artificial intelligence, so as a company, we do our own look back analysis where we pull our own information every quarter. We see what we predicted that will sell. We wait 90 days, and then we cross-reference what we predicted versus what we sold. And for scores that are a 900 and above, we're accurate 16.3% of the time. Like, now that number may not sound that high, but if you imagine if you have a list of 100 people, most likely 16 or 17 of the people on that list of 100, as small as 100, will most likely sell in the next quarter. Now, I'm not a math scholar, so let's take out my calculator here. So if we have a list here of 686, so let's take 686 times it by our 16.3. That means that on this list here, most likely 111 to 112 people on this list in the next 90 days will sell. We're going to spend less than $102 on that. So essentially, we could spend $102.90 to get a list of 118 people that will sell in the next quarter, is what it breaks down to.
Love it. Now, I know that someone just asked here, Jenna, about is the wholesale price you presented to the buyer? Because on there it has like the wholesale price, the retail price, and everything. Can you explain that a little bit so people understand?
Yeah. So when you click on one of these properties,
sorry, Jenna. Also, too, is for every single one of you who actually following along, who opens up your laptop, who got the software, who pulled the list. I want to know from you is how big of a list did you got? Okay, so comment in and let me know. Go ahead, Jenna.
Yeah, so when you look here, these numbers, these are going to be kind of like your backup. Now you're going to see as you scroll down, there's going to be something called our AVM. This is our automated valuation model. What this breaks down to, what it means is our system is placing a value on this piece of property based on what other sales are in the area, based on the age of the property, just an average property in a similar condition. Now it's giving it more towards a retail price range. So if this house were to hit the market right now, it would probably list somewhere around 182. And I hate to compare it to like a Zillow's estimate, but it's very similar to what a Zillow's estimate would be. Just kind of the average price of that property. Now, the only downfall is it doesn't know the current condition of the property. So if it has a beat up kitchen, if it needs a new roof, the system doesn't know that. However, so you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence and you're minusing out how much the repairs will cost from your offer when you're making this offer. Now, when you see that 182 number, that is what you're seeing here for this retail number. This is basically the retail, what this property would sell for if it were to hit the market at list price. Now you're going to see here, we also give you the averages of what the average rents are in a market. This is great to have access to, but also then you'll see this wholesale score. Now, again, this wholesale score is basically going to be this number minus 35%. So it's going to give you an idea if you were to make an offer on this property, what offer would you make? But understand, this is not including any repairs. So it's just basically saying if you were to get this property, so like let's just picture and imagine that this house needed no repairs. It just gives you a basic number so that you know if this person says, yeah, I'd sell it for maybe around 110, you're going to be like, holy heck, yes. Like that's telling me that this number is kind of right along the lines for me to get it at a good wholesale price so that I could wholesale it. So it kind of gives you an idea. But then let's say that they tell you it needs, $50,000 in work. Well, then obviously, you know that you're going to take the 50,000 minus this number, or minus, wherever we're at, just so that okay, my offer is going to be the $110,000 minus the 50,000 for repairs. So my maximum allowable offer is 60 grand. Like somebody said in the one of the questions where can somebody with no experience do this? Like 100%. Like this is where you have that backup. You have that assurance. You have a system that's coming in here and saying, here's some different figures just so that you can have them. So when somebody tells you, hey, I want to sell my house for 200 grand, you can instantly look at this and say, yeah, I don't think so. Like it's not going to be a good deal. So it's just kind of like your backup to know what could this house sell right now, not including repairs. How much could it sell retail? How much should I get it for at a wholesale price?
Okay. All right, you guys, time is getting crunched. So we're going to jump into the next phase that you guys are going to love this. So Jenna, let's just say that you contact the list of 686. And I was telling Ace, all you need is one yes, my friend. Just one yes. One seller to say, yep, that price sounds good. Bam. That one yes make you 25 G's. Is it worth it that you pound the phone for the last 30 days? Is it worth it? Or do you rather go to work at a J-O to B, all right, 8 hours a day, clocking in, clocking out, and make $3,000? Come on, man. Shit. 25 G's, that's all. Some of you, dude, that's like 3 months of your hustle working for somebody else. Okay, so now, Jenna, let's say that we call the seller, and then now let's show them how do you present them, all right, with the offer. And then obviously next thing is Jenna going to also show you the software to find the buyer so you can sell your deal as well.
Yeah. So what I like to do when I'm making offers, guys, so obviously we've on our previous times that we've been together, we've practiced, like, what do we say to these sellers? Like, we're going to be cold calling them. And that's like, I don't want to just negate the fact that some of you are saying, okay, I found this list, I skip traced it. And what do I say to these people? Like, this is scary. Like, what do I say on the phone? Like, the thing is, our number one objective is to figure out, do they have a desire to sell that property? If so, then we're going to figure out things like, how much do they want to sell that property for? What's the condition of that property? How soon do they want to sell it? And the reason why they want to sell that property. Like, obviously there's going to be different things that we like. Don't be some weird real estate robot and be like, how much you want to sell it for? When you want to sell it? Why you want to sell? Like, don't be weird about it. You just want to basically have a normal conversation. But for us to analyze this deal, we need to figure out how much will it sell for, which we can figure out in the software because we can pull comps right here. So when you're in any property, you can click on the comp button and it will launch our comping tool and you can pull comps right there. We need to figure out the condition of it. So what does it need to be? How much does it need to be fixed? And then obviously what can we offer on that? Now, when we talk about what we're going to offer, this is kind of where we're fast forwarding and talking to you about this, because obviously you have a fantastic mentor, Khang, right here that's going to teach you guys this stuff. If you work with him and you have the opportunity where you can be like, what do I say? What do I do? So I'm just here to show you guys how we can find these deals. And then let's talk about how do we present these. Now, what I love to do is offering an A and a B scenario. Both of them are going to be great for me. Jenna? And they're going to be, yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there for a second. I know some of you, all right, you watch other people and they get on the phone and they're exactly like Jenna. Okay, what's the property address? All right, why you want to sell it? Okay, well, how much you want for it? Here's something you guys don't understand. Let me clarify this up a second. Dude, like that skill set, man, anybody can do, all right? And let me tell you why those people can do that and still get a lot of deals under contract. You know what they got? They got this. Do you have $10,000, $20,000 to spend a month? Direct mail, PPC, SEO, right? TV ads. Like, do you have those kind of capital, right, to market, to spend, so that way people calling you, right? Dude, they're spending a lot of money, right, to target. So these people call them, they can get on the phone and say that, right? So basically for them, it's like, dude, it's just going to be numbers. But for you, man, for a lot of you, dude, you need to freaking improve your negotiating skill set. You need to learn how to talk, how to negotiate. You need to learn how to get on the phone, build rapport, get people to like you, right? You know, people want to do business with people that they trust and they like, right? And, you know, when you get better at on the phone, it's just a good skill to have, okay? And which means if you get good on the phone, your conversion rate is going to be a lot lower. You don't need to talk to 10,000 people, all right, to get one deal under contract. Maybe you only have to talk to 100 people. So don't see all these guys on there and just like, dude, and I've seen them. I know who they are, right? Some of them have a big following. They're like, I know, dude, because you spend a lot of money on PPC. You spend a lot of money on TV ads. So people call you. They're just desperate. So you can get on the phone and be like that. But that's all I'm saying, right? But a lot of you that are coming up that don't have 10, 20, 30K to drop, you know, the cheapest, the fastest way, man, and it still worked till today. All right, it's cold calling. Still work today. Cheapest, quickest, fastest way for you to get in front of a seller, hands down. Go ahead, Jenna.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then this is so cool. I mean, like just being able to work with you. So, I mean, your followers are just so lucky to have somebody like, cause you just say it the way it is. Like some people just sugarcoat it and you're just like, I'll just tell you the way it is. So,
well, the thing is, Jenna, like I know, right? So when I first started before, I did a lot of direct mail. So when I get on the call, it was like, it was like that. And I was spending $25,000 a month on letters and postcard. Postcard costs you about 50 cents. Letter costs you about $1. But we got the capital to do it. And I was on the phone. That's exactly how I did it. I was like, hey, okay, great. Thank you so much for calling our company. How can I help you? Hey, I got a letter. You guys want to, you know, this and this. I'll be like, okay, so what's your property address? How much you guys want to sell it for? What you want to get? Right? Because they are now calling and I was just playing the numbers game. And then I realized that, dude, I was burning through a lot of money, right? 25K and my KPI, right? My cost per lead was so high. I said, dude, I need to get better at this. I need to get better at talking to sellers so my conversion rate can be a lot lower. And I can train other, you know, I can train my VAs or other people on how to actually do this, man.
Yeah. So let's talk about when we want to present the offer. So let's say that we're talking to them. Obviously, when we want to analyze a deal, we talked about 3 important numbers. What will that property sell for? How much will it cost to renovate it? And again, I know we're wholesalers, but we're wholesaling it to rehabbers. So we still need to know the amount of repairs that are needed in it. So we know what our third most important number is, which is going to be our maximum allowable offer. So let's say that we have this house that's let's just call it a $400,000 house. Let's say that it needs about $100,000 in work. So when we look at those numbers, so I don't know, do you usually teach like a 70% rule whenever you're looking at a deal? Is that usually what you do? Okay. All right. I don't want you to say too much because I know that this is top secret info that you have here.
Well, see, the thing is, Jenna, like people say 70% or times 70%. I like to say minus 30% because I look at it, Jenna. Yeah. So for me, like, you know, when I first started, people say times 70%. It never makes sense to me. And I really start to dig in, right? And I realized that it's just like when you go shopping, right? When you go shopping, let's just say you want to buy a pair of shoes and the shoes is, you know, $100. They don't put, hey, they don't put times 70%. They put, hey,
you 70%.
Right? Yeah. So they'll be like, hey, you get 30% off. And then it makes sense to me, right? 30% off $100, $70. Bam. So for me,
either way.
Yeah.
So either way that you like it. So let's just talk about, we have a $400,000 house. So what that means is if we were to take 30% off of that or 70% of the 400,000, we're at 280. That means that's the most that we can be all in on that property, 280 grand. Now, if it needs $100,000 in work, obviously we're at 180. So that's going to be our maximum allowable offer when we talk about that. Now, let's say that we're talking to the seller and they're like, oh, look, I'd love to be able to get somewhere around $250,000. we know right there in an instant, that's not going to be a good wholesale deal. That's not going to be a good opportunity. Of course, we can ask them why they want to sell it, go for it. And we'll,
Yeah.
I know you have something to add there.
Yes. So the thing is, this is why I love the free and clear list. And some of you might be like, well, you know, if the property's worth 400,000, who would sell to you for, let's just say Jenna said, for 280 minus 100,000 in rehab? Let me tell you, when I first got into real estate, I asked the same question to my mentor. And you know what he showed me? He showed me a HUD statement that a seller brought $20,000 to the table to sell the deal. So the seller has to come out of pocket 20 G's to sell the property to him. And this guy, man, he was a top freaking negotiator. This guy is a beast. He owns, I don't know, man. He got to be up to 600 or 700 rental property right now in Maryland,
Wow.
specifically in Hagerstown, Maryland. And we are the same age, but the guy's a beast. He's much more successful than I am. But dude, and when I saw that, Jenna, I was like, holy so people would actually pay to sell the house because they're in a distress situation. You guys don't know this? It's distress. Just like why people go to pawn shop, why people would go pawn something for super cheap. They want that cash. And for in this case, that homeowner, he was just sick and tired of the property, and he didn't want to deal with the renter. The renter was giving him trouble every single month, and they were just squatting and didn't want to leave. He didn't need the he was like, I'm done with the stress, and they're moving out of states, all right, to relocate to a new job. So you'd be like, dude, I'm done, right? Now, so you guys got to understand, don't think like, why would someone do that? You just don't know people's situation, right? You don't know their situation. So stop thinking why and thinking, hey, dude, it's absolutely possible, okay? And the free and clear list, and that's why I love it, because, you know, even if it needs 100,000 in repair, dude, you'll be like, hey, you're going to walk away with $180,000 in your pocket. They'll be like, oh, hell yeah, dude. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay. So we know if they say, I want 250 for it. Okay. Here's the thing that we want to do. Obviously our goal is to get that property for 180. That's going to be our golden spot to go for. Now, what we can do is I always like to blame it on my partners. I'll say it's my partner's fault or my private investor's fault, because essentially, you know, what we're doing is we're trying to get this property under contract. So usually what I'll say, I'll say, you know, I'm going to review this with my partner. I'll get back to you. I'll call them back at the time that I stated I was going to call them back. Accountability is super important, because kind of how you said, people will buy and sell to people that they know, like, and trust, just like you said. So when we need to be accountable. So we're going to follow up at the time that we say, and I'll basically say, look, I'm just going to explain to you how we go about analyzing a property. And I'll actually explain it just like that we just did together. I'll say it's all going to be based on a percentage, on a formula. Now, what we do is we're going to look at how much other houses in the areas are selling. We have to factor in and account for the amount of repairs that your property is. And then we're able to come up with our offer price. Now, based on everything that we talked about, my highest and my best cash offer price is going to be $180,000. Now, understand with that offer, we're going to be buying that property as is. We have the opportunity, you know, we're not going to, you know, we don't need to qualify for financing. We're not going to have inspections, or you can have inspections, but you say, you know, if we get inspections done, we're not going to have somebody come in here and make you fix all these things. We're going to buy it quickly. So within the next 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever your time frame is. I'm going to pause right there and for 1 second, and just wanted to let you guys know, like, this is something I just want to beat into your brains, because like, this is about mindset. The thing is, if we're buying properties, we're buying them in cash, we're buying them quickly, and we're buying them all like as is. That comes at a premium. You can't expect somebody to buy your property, give you full price for it, and do all these things. Like, if I'm going to buy your house in cash, then you're going to sell it cheaper. If you want me to buy it in 2 weeks, that you have to pay for that. If you want me to buy your house and not make you fix something, you have to pay for that. So you have to understand that the fact that you're giving them an offer in all cash quickly as is, that costs something, and that's a value to them. So that's why you're not offering 250. That's why you're offering 180. Go for it.
Yeah, Jenna, I want to add something to that. So a lot of times you guys don't know that when a seller is in a motivated or distressed situation, they choose value. They choose solution. They choose your solution over get an extra $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, or even $100,000. I have seller that knows what their property's worth. They talk to a real estate agent. They know how much they can get it for, but they end up going with us just because they don't want to deal with all that headaches, all that hassle. They don't want to take picture and put it on the market for their family and friends to see because they're in a very bad situations. The house doesn't look as nice. And I also want to say this too, is when I go and get my clothes dry clean, I'm a bowler now. Back then, dude, Lon and I go to a laundromat. We go to back then, Lon and I was going to a laundromat because we were trying to save electricity back at home, living with Lon's mom in a single wide. Dude, now I go and get all my clothes dry clean. And even though this shirt that I bought from Hollister on sale for $14.99, I go get it dry clean. And because I want to buy tomorrow, I asked the guy, I'll be like, hey, dude, how much can I get it for like tomorrow, dude? Like, I need it fast. Dude, I didn't even care. But he said, hey, Khang, it's going to cost you $25. Cost more than the shirt. I didn't care. Because I'm willing to pay for convenience, speed, and get it when I want. And I do it all the time. Why? I don't know. Just because I can.
Because you can. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why not? You went so long without having that perk. But anyways, so now that we know, okay, so what I'm going to explain to them, okay, it's all going to come down to this formula. So the most that I'm going to be able to offer you in cash, being that I'm going to buy it quickly and buying it as is, the most I can offer is going to be $180,000. Now, I understand the fact that you said that you wanted to sell it for $250,000. Now, I also have other partners, and so what we're going to be able to do, and so I'll kind of present an A. So that was my A scenario, or say, and I'd love.
Wait, hold on, Jenna. So your A, all right, your A solution for offer for them is $180,000 cash. And seller said too low, you want $250. Okay. Got it.
Now, I'd love to be able to offer you the $250,000. However, the only problem is that I have financing partners, and they are going to look at that deal, and they're going to look at those different figures. However, if you were able to offer us, let's say that you were able to carry the mortgage on this property, so I would talk to them. I'd ask them if they're interested in any sort of creative financing, where if we could go potentially up to $250,000. But I couldn't buy it quickly in cash. What we would do is we would structure an owner finance situation. So let's say maybe we'd negotiate a 6% interest. And what they would do is they would carry that note. Now, and the thing is, when you go to present that to your end buyers, so we're still wholesaling this opportunity. We can wholesale this deal. Let's say we wanted to make 10 grand on it or whatever it was. So we'd then sell it for 190 if we get it in cash. However, let's say that we have this opportunity now that this seller will allow us to owner finance their property. Now, you can make it like, if it's a good rental property, owner finance it for 5 years, 20 years, whatever you want to finance it for. Like, usually what we'll do is like amortize it over 20 years with a 5-year balloon or something like that. So it gives them a way that it doesn't have to be forever. Or if you want to make it to where, look, how about we'll just do it where it's a 1-year balloon. So what happens is then your end buyer could go and get this house, not have to do anything to get financing. They'd have to go to no bank, no hard money lender, no private lender. And if they have to rehab it, all they need to do is come up with $100,000 to renovate it. Now what happens is they only have to go out of pocket 100 grand or get a loan for 100 grand. They rehab this property, put it on the market, find a buyer, sell it. And then that first lien to that owner gets paid off. And then their $100,000 lien for their finance or for their rehabbing gets paid off. But imagine, you could wholesale these opportunities. So many times as a wholesaler, we're sitting there thinking like, oh, if these deals aren't these like really cheap, getting them at a discount, that's not a deal. Yes, it could be. Like, you could still go up higher and then bundle in some financing with it and then wholesale that opportunity, or maybe come down still a little. Like, if it doesn't make sense at 250, just say, look, I could offer you $180,000 cash, or I can go up to 220. But in this situation, you're going to have to owner finance me. I wouldn't say it like that, but I mean, basically they're going to owner finance you at 4%, 6% interest for the duration of the renovation. And then they'll get paid at the time of closing, or carry it out longer and make it as a rental property. Like, you could wholesale a rental deal to a landlord. It doesn't just have to be to a rehabber. Wholesale a rental opportunity to a landlord in your area.
So for those
do you want me to show them where to find the buyers?
Yes, but hold on. For those of you who don't understand, Jana just dropped some bomb and showing you guys two ways to lock in a property in a contract. So let's just say that your offer to the seller was 180,000. Seller said it's too low. I need $250,000 for it. And a lot of times, you walk away with the deal because the number doesn't make sense. But if you understand creative financing, now you'd be like, hey, $250,000. All right. Hey, what if just like Jenna said, hey, we do a 30 years or 20 years amp, and then, hey, we'll pay you off in 5 years, 1 year, whatever it is. So typically now is that the seller wants, there's only two things. The thing is, if they'd rather choose price, then they got to go with your term. If they'd rather choose term, right? Which means if they were to go with your term, then you were willing to pay them higher in price. If they want, higher price, then they would got to go with your terms. So, which means if they take your, so typically it's one or the other. So that way it can be win-win.
If it's your price, it's my rules,
Yeah,
like, correct. If I have to go up to your price, then I'm going to set the standards. If you're going to go to my price, then you're going to have all the perks of buying. Yeah, I'll buy it in cash. I'll buy it quickly. I won't make you fix anything. That's fine. All those things. But those are just two different ways, because a lot of times wholesalers get blinded by the idea of, I can only get these deals if they're this perfect of an opportunity. No, we could still go higher, but we also could offer an A and a B scenario, because now how much easier is it to wholesale your opportunity maybe a little higher if you are offering financing with it? Imagine if you're a rehabber that's out here and somebody's like, hey, here's this really good deal, and I'll even cover your financing for it. Like, what's to hold them back? Nothing, because now they have the deal and the money to be able to move forward on it.
Love it. Now, Jenna, before you jump in showing people how to find the buyers, can you answer this question? This is from Jose. Does the software send out offer? Does it have dialers, text compatibilities?
So as far as sending out offers, no, you still have to physically send out your offers. That's going to be something in time. We will be adding in, we have the ability to create purchase and sell agreements electronically in the software, if that's a version that you choose to add to your account. We will be adding in the future, we will be merging with DocuSign. So let's say that you skip trace the list, you have their email addresses. You can actually create a purchase and sell agreement electronically, shoot it out for DocuSign because we have their emails. There's still some physical components of it that we have to physically still kind of orchestrate. But as far as your other questions about texting capabilities, we will be integrating a dialer here probably within the next 1 to 2 months, hopefully sooner. We're already finished with all of our beta testing and everything like that. So we will be integrating a dialer into the system where you will have the ability to send out texts from the system. So you'll be able to do that. I think that was the only question, right?
Yep, correct. So the goal is obviously eventually this will be your one-stop shop. You don't have to go anywhere else. Your CRM, your dialers, your texting, your sending out purchase and sell agreement all in one place. So you, instead of having multiple different platforms that you have to go to, just stick with one. Keep it more simple, more organized. All right, Jenna, let's go ahead and jump into the cash buyer.
Yeah, let me show that real quick. And it's super simple, guys, because obviously if we are here to talk about finding our different leads, so we contacted our motivated sellers. Now we got that property under contract, whichever A or B scenario that they selected. Now we have to figure out, who the heck do I wholesale this to? So if we go into our system, we can come in here. So now we targeted the sellers. Now I want to target my buyers. Come into your system and select cash buyers. And then what we're going to do then is I want to come in here, and of course it doesn't have to just be single family. It doesn't have to be a wholesale score. So basically what I'm looking for, I'm not looking for individuals. Actually, what I'm looking for is I am looking for businesses. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, okay, I'm in the Cleveland, Ohio area. Show me all the fellow businesses, LLCs, investors that are like me, that bought a house recently in cash. And so when we come in here, we can look at our time frame. So I can come in here and I can say, show me as recent as the last month, because you can see I had 22,000 different cash buyers in my area. That's overkill. And I don't care about the one person that bought a house back in 2013 because they wanted to be an investor. Like, I want the current people who are actively buying. Now I have it narrowed down to 247 different people. If you have like 4, then open it up bigger. Go to 3 months, go to 6 months, go to a year, because you want to have at least 1 to 200 people on this list is going to be ideal. And then I'm going to see this list. So now I have 247 fellow investors in my area of Cleveland, where I just did all that marketing, found all those deals, got all those properties under contract. And now I'm seeing all the fellow investors that are buying those properties in my area. So I can take this same list, I can select them all, I can send them to the My Lead section, I can get all their contact information, and I can start reaching out to them and pushing out my deal. So I can ask them what their buying criteria is. And guys, understand, you can do this part of it first if you want. If you want to go into your area and say, look, I want to find my buyers first. I want to see what they're buying. I want to have the confidence to know that I have this buyer that says they're going to buy it. So if I promise you that somebody's going to buy your house, and I don't feel like, silly. So you do this first. Come in here, find your buyers, call them, see what they want, put them into your database, and then come in here and start doing all your marketing. Sometimes people love this approach better, because imagine how confident you'll be when you're negotiating with these sellers and you're telling them, yes, somebody's going to buy your house on this day for this price. And you know that they will, because you already have your buyers in place. They're just sitting there like swimming around like sharks, waiting for like the food to be dropped down. Like that's what they're waiting for. And so we can call these people. And remember, when we're calling these people, we want to showcase the fact that we're doing a lot of marketing, a lot of advertising, we're getting off market deals. If you're an investor out there and somebody calls you and they're like, hey, I have all these deals in my area, do you want to be part of my buyers list? Why would they say no? Unless they're crazy. That's the only time that they would say no, is if they're not serious.
Unless they're crazy or they don't like money. But
I guess so.
But if they don't like money, then they wouldn't buy real estate. Now, I also want to touch base on how powerful this is, which means that if you have access to the software, and I know some people here, the software is called dealsformenow.com. And, when you have access to the software, you can go in any city, any states and dominate. Let me explain. Let me share with you guys one other tips that maybe some of you, I don't talk a lot about this, but I have a full YouTube video that talks about this. It's called JV or co-wholesaling. You might be like, well, Khang, the hardest part is finding a seller. Dude, if that was the case, we would have done, I think last month we did $35,000 in just JV deals. And I didn't do anything with the JV deal. So check this out. Here's what I mean. So my VA, obviously we got access to the software. So what I do is I just promote it on my social media. I said, hey, if any one of you got a property in a contract and you have a hard time finding a cash buyer and you tried all your ways already and it doesn't work, hey, email it over to me, all right? I'll plug in the link right now. I said, email it over to me at jvdeals@wtmfam.com. And guess what? Well, we got a bunch of leads that comes over, and my VA filter them all. And she did where this wholesaler said, I've tried and I can't. Guess what happened? She literally found him a buyer within 5 days. We just closed on it. All right. I think it was for $13,000 splitting in between the two of us. So what I'm saying is, for some of you, if you don't want to talk to seller, or maybe in the meantime that you're trying to get your wholesale deal, you can also do what's called JV or co-wholesaling and say, hey, there's a lot of Facebook group, okay, that you can join. You can also join the local RIA and start just putting your name out, just putting it out there. Hey, if you have a property contract, you have a hard time finding a buyer for it, dude, email it over to me. I can literally find you a buyer in any city, any states, any zip code, and just leverage the software and then just JV deals with other wholesaler that has a tough time. Because some of them don't, you might think everybody knows about the software, but they don't. And you might think everybody follow me, but they don't. All right. And this is how we're still making money JVing deals, because there are people out there, man, that don't know about this and don't know how to do it and finding the buyers.
That was probably such a solution for somebody, because there's so many things that scares a wholesaler or an investor. Like a lot of you guys are new, and you're sitting there and you're like, okay, yeah, this sounds easy, but I'm going to get in there and I'm going to not know what to do, and I'm going to be left with this deal and I have under contract, and that's going to be the part that you're going to use as your excuse why you're not going to do this. However, you just got an email right there of where you can send your deal, and they're going to find you the buyer. Like, yeah, I understand you may have to split your deal or however, whatever your profit split is, but you know what? Even if it's half of something, it's better than all of nothing.
Oh,
Like, if you're not going to do your deals, or you're not going to
yeah,
do this because you're afraid of, like, what do I say to them? Well, let them do it. And that's
yeah.
why he's here. Like, he's here to show you the software. The Deals for Me Now software. It could be for you, it could not be for you, but the fact is that being part of this software allows you to have access to an amazing mentor like Khang, where he's going to teach you these things. He's going to be there. He's going to be that person to say, like, here, I'll look at it for you. Let's work on it together. Don't be scared. Where do you find the leads? Well, right here's where we find them. Well, how do I find a buyer? Well, you could find it here. And even if you don't want to find it, I'll find the buyer for you. So those are the things. And I promised that I was going to share a couple of the different lead
Oh,
types that are
yes.
going to be coming up. So this is going to be really beneficial.
But
Some of them may not be. Okay,
hold
go
on.
ahead.
Yeah, I just thought of something. So this morning I went and visited my mom, and I took her to one. Dude, you guys, I took her to our one of my most proud. I love this apartment. It's a 6 unit. I love it. It's like my trophy rental. And and we had a little. I think we had two washer, two dryer that's in the building. Dude, I told my mom, when I was 18, 19, I met Lon and I have to go to a laundromat, and now we have our own little laundromat and we're getting paid. So I took my mom in there, and then she's starting to get these quarters. She's like, Khang. So the first one was really, was a lot, right? And she was smiling. The next one wasn't as much. It was just very little. And my mom said, this one doesn't have much. And I told my mom, I'd rather have little than nothing at all. Even if it's a quarter, we're a quarter richer, baby. And she just smiled. But just like,
Yeah.
we rather get half of something than nothing at all.
Yeah. And I mean, that's fantastic. I'm glad that I know that, because I didn't know that about you, because I just had a deal that I had a heck of a time finding a buyer up in Massachusetts. So, and I'm in Pennsylvania. So I wish I'd have known that, because I'd have been like, find me a person. So we did find a person. So we closed on that last week. But anyways, so, okay. So we're going to talk about the 4 different lead types. It's going to be something called our investor leads. Now, this is something that you guys can add to your account. And there's going to be a ton of different perks of having this
Wait,
in our account.
Jenna. So when is this 4 leads coming out?
So it's going to be within the next 1 to 2 weeks. So our goal is to definitely have it up and running by the 15th. So it's most likely, we just did this whole new user interface integration yesterday, and this is the next thing that will come out. So I'd like to say 1 week. If not, it's going to be 2. I mean, the worst case scenario is 15th is the worst that it's going to be.
Now, I also want to remind everyone again that the price on the basic and the pro account will go up. I'm not sure when, but because as this thing just get better and better and more improved, and more things that is being added, which is more value, right? So if you're the early bird, if you're locking at this price, I'm telling you, it is the best it's probably the best and the cheapest that you can get right now before it goes up in price. That's all I want to say. So that way people don't, because I've done video where I'd be like, hey, let me show you how to turn $100 into X amount by leveraging the software. And now everybody comes there, they'll be like, hey, Khang, I thought it's only $100 and now it's whatever price it is. So I'm just going to give you a heads up. Go ahead, Jenna.
Yeah. So the first one is going to be active private lenders in your area. Now you may say, like, okay, I'm a wholesaler. What does that matter? But what if you have to do a double close on a property and you need transactional financing? So now it's going to be whether it be an individual or an LLC. So whatever that person, however they do their business under, but it's going to have all the active private lenders in your market that have done any sort of transaction within the last 36 months. So it's going to show you not only them, but it's going to show you how much have they invested, what type of deals do they finance, what's their average price point that they finance. So if you see somebody that's like, well, they were a lender for $100,000, but you're in Santa Clara, California, and yours are like 1.2 million deals, you're going to see that person may not be the right private lender for you. So that's going to be one of the lead types that we will be having available to you if it's something you guys want to add to your accounts. It's going to be active private lenders in your market. So again, I know if you're more of a rehabber, you're going to be like, holy heck, yes. Like, I want that one in there, because if I have a rehab, I have my lenders. However, as a wholesaler, there may be times where we're doing a double close where we have to get a deal, physically buy it, and then even if it's that same day, physically resell that property. The second one is going to be landlords as one of our lead types. Now, landlords, you may say, again, I'm a wholesaler. What if you have a rental opportunity? What if you had a list of every single landlord in your market? And because the
Ooh.
problem is that when we're talking about how to find cash buyers in your area, when we're pulling these people from the Deals for Me Now software right now, I'm only looking at people that bought the house in cash. There's not a mortgage associated. However, I'm an active rehabber in my area and a wholesaler. But when I buy properties, a lot of times I'm buying them with a private investor involved. If that's the case, there's a mortgage associated. So I won't even show up in my own market as a cash buyer because I'm buying them with a mortgage. This will now be alleviated. So now it's going to bump up our opportunities of finding all these investors in our market. So now it's not going to only be cash buyers, it's going to be people that got mortgages too on the property. So if we can see all the landlords that bought them in cash and got mortgages on properties, so basically any landlord that's done any sort of a transaction. Now, also what's going to be super cool is we're going to see their entire portfolio, even with clickable links on all of their properties. So that's nice though, because if you're saying like, look, I want more rental properties, now you can go after these landlords and say, look, I see all these properties that you have. I can see the price point. Do they go after distressed properties? So regardless, so this is going to be, again, we can spend more time on really diving into it once it's live. But the third one, which is probably going to be everybody's favorite, is going to be flippers in your area. Not the dolphin. Remember that show? I don't know if you ever remember that show, Flipper the Dolphin. Okay, it's not the dolphin. It's all the rehabbers in your market. So now you're going to have a list of all the individuals and all the or potential LLCs as well, whether they bought the houses in cash, whether they bought them with mortgages or not. But we're going to be able to see all of the active rehabbers in your market right here with this new lead type. So we don't have to do the go to cash buyers and do all that kind of thing. We'll be able to actually see them. We'll be able to see the price point of all the properties that they bought, the average price point, that we'll see their portfolio. We'll be able to see everything about that individual investor. And if we skip trace it, again, we'll have their phone number. We're going to have their email. And the fourth one is going to be any sort of note holders. Now, this may be something you're like, I don't know what they're speaking another language. I don't know what that is. But if for fellow lien lords that are out there, if you can kind of imagine, you can buy properties or you also can buy notes. It's basically the mortgage that's on that property. So it's kind of like the hybrid between, where you're kind of like a landlord. So you're getting a paycheck every single month as that lien lord. But it's just another type of a list that we can target. But the ones that are going to probably be very advantageous for us, first off, the active private lenders, if you're looking for financing or transactional funds, but also the landlords and the flippers or the rehabbers in our market to really build up our cash buyers list.
Boom. God dang. Man, all that coming.
I'm trying to talk quick because I know that I want to keep everybody's attention quick, but there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of cool things working with you.
I love it. So listen, for every single one of you, I know Star just commented about working with and having Jenna. So Jenna does come on and teach the class. What is it, Jenna? Is it once a month in the academy, or is it, what is it?
Yeah, so if you become part of the software, we have a mini mastermind. We get together every single month for about an hour or two, and we just dive into the software. So you bring any questions, we'll pull it up, we'll cold call, we'll do fun stuff. I'll show you guys how we're going to get the how we're going to get their phone numbers. So we're going to practice leveraging the software. Again, it's all software related. So I'm going to show you how we go about leveraging these properties. How do we find those deals? What do we say to that individual person? So when you become part of the software, we do get together collectively every single month. Now, that doesn't negate having a fantastic mentor, having somebody that you can work with one-on-one, obviously, like somebody working with you, Khang or Khang, like you have the ability to really work with them. I wanted to say King and Khang at the same time.
Khang,
and it came out.
yeah.
Because I always love your marketing. Yeah.
So with that being said, Star, here's what it is, Star. So Star, if you've been like, hey, Khang, I've been trying to close my first deal, whether you're trying to get started, whether you're new or experienced investor, you're trying to get started, you're trying to grow, you're trying to build your wholesaling business, you want to build do it virtual like I do with a team, system, process, everything automated in place, go to coachwithkhang.com. All right. That's how you get more of Jenna, and also to being able to work alongside with me and my team to help you, once again, whether you're new or experienced, whether you have trying to close your first deal, or maybe you have done a few deals, but you're like, hey, Khang, I need the systems, I need the process, I need the automations, everything in place, the dialer and all of that. let me help you instead of you trying to figure out all yourself. So that way, when you jump on, it's like a plug and play. You get 24/7 support, all the tools, the training, the resource. And obviously, you got the beautiful Jenna once a month to go on there and show you exactly how to get that money. So, Jenna, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And once again, we'll have to, once everything is all updated, I might have to bring you back in the next week or two.
That's what I'm here for. Yeah, then that's the cool thing is like they get you to teach them how to do real estate, and I get to show them how to use the software. So we're a great tag team. So awesome to hang out with you again today.
Awesome, Jenna. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye, Jenna. Anyways, you guys, I appreciate each and every single one of you. I hopefully that you guys get a lot out of this. And Star, here's something that I haven't asked Jenna. I was waiting till she gets off, and then I'll ask her privately, but I'll share with you guys. And you guys know that, within my Wholesale to Million Academy, we only teach you guys about wholesaling and not so much about creative financing, because that's not my expertise. But it seemed like that's something that Jenna loves to teach. So, Star, you might be in for a treat. And I'm not promising you guys anything like that, but I might try to see if I can get Jenna to jump on like once a month to teach you guys that part, the part that I'm not an expert at, which is the whole creative financing side. Okay. I appreciate each and every single one of you that are here with me. I truly hope that this add a lot of value to you. And if it does, you already know what to do. And if you don't, come on, man. Shit, bro. Boom. Smash that thumbs up. And if you're new to the family, be sure to, boom, smash that subscribe button. You guys, I appreciate each and every single one of you that's here. I wish you nothing but massive success. We got 6 months left to crush it, to make the most we can, to stack. I want to see you stack at least 100 G's by the end of the year, which is roughly what? Let me see here. 100,000 shit, man. I'm Asian, but I'm not good with math. 100 divided by 6 months, dude. Dude, that's less than one deal. Less than one deal a month. Come on, man. Shit. Let's go, baby. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much. And let's go get this money. I'm out.